日本時間3月4日、米国時間3月3日に配信された野球トーク番組、なぜ私はメッツのファンなのかで、ロサンゼルス、ドジャースの大谷翔平とニューヨーク、メッツの不安、外をめぐる2026年なリーグ MVP 争いが大きな話題となった。番組では、外が大谷を倒して MVP を狙うと語った発言に注目。これは記者アンソニー・ティコモの質問がきっかけだったとされるが、結果的にリーグを代表する2人のスターによる頂上決戦として注目を集めている。司会者たちは、大谷が依然として MVP 本命である理由についても言及した。投打二刀流という多大無二の存在であることに加え、仮に投手として登板しないシーズンであっても、打撃成績だけで MVP 級の数字を残す点が圧倒的な強みだという。一方、外が対抗するためには、打撃力だけでなく走塁や盗塁、外野守備など総合力を高め、シーズンを通して安定した成績を残すことが鍵になると分析された。番組ではこの後、2026年なリーグ MVP レースの展望について、さらに詳しい議論が続く。ぜひ最後までご覧いただきたい。
As far as other bits and bobs, what else you got on your list that you think would be worth discussing?
Well, I figured we should speak to our Dodgers fans. It's been a while. Hello, everyone.
How y'all doing?
How y'all doing? Haven't talked to you guys in a while. Hope everyone enjoyed, by the way, the interview with Laura Albanese last week. If you missed that episode, truly, and you are a big Mets fan, go back and watch that because I thought she had such great insight into Mets spring training, X's and O's on some of these pitchers. She was just phenomenal and fantastic.
Really intelligent woman.
Anyways, so smart. The Mets and the Dodgers and the long relationship that is. Juan Soto made headlines last week for saying...
That happens from time to time.
Juan Soto likes to make a headline or two. He talked with Anthony DiComo about Shohei Ohtani and Soto about his own chances of dethroning Ohtani to win NL MVP. As we all know, Ohtani has won that award many times. Soto said, quote, "I'm going to be there every year too, so he better keep doing what he's doing because I'm coming. He's really good. He's really good. I've just got to beat him. Definitely it's not going to be easy, but I've got to find a way to beat him." And he went on to discuss some of what he's looking to improve this season to kind of get over that hump. He says, "I feel like everybody tries to do better than what they did before. I would definitely love to be better around the bases and better in the outfield. Even hitting, I try to keep my hitting increased." And then he thanked God and a few things and said he just keeps trying to get better each and every year. Juan Soto is still, I believe, 26 years old, possibly 27 at this point. Very young, as we've talked about many a time. So young to even be in the discussions that he's in, you know? But yeah, I thought it was interesting. Of course, it was probably prompted by a DiComo question about Ohtani and about that elusive NL MVP. But I think it's interesting that those comparisons are already popping up. And I think when you do look at the rest of the National League and who could possibly challenge Ohtani for that award one day, even though nobody is in the same stratosphere as him because nobody else is a two-way player that excels at both. All that aside, Juan Soto is front of the list for a guy who could eventually dethrone him there.
I agree. And I'm actually glad that you brought up the thing about DiComo asking that question. Because let's be clear, I don't think Juan Soto just went out there and randomly went up to Anthony DiComo and was like, "Hey, this is what I want to talk about today." No. I think DiComo thought this would be an interesting thing to write a story about. Let me ask him and pick his brain. And then that's what Juan Soto said.
And it was interesting.
And it totally was interesting. So great call by DiComo. That being said, listen, it's hard because he talks about the things he wants to improve, but no matter what he's improving, he's not a pitcher.
Right.
And that is going to be the hard part, is figuring out ways to compete with somebody who's doing something in baseball that's not being done, that's going to be the challenge. But in a way, listen, I kind of like the idea of games within games, and I think for Juan Soto, that NL MVP, why not have that be something in the back of your mind that you're chasing, even if it is, of course, a team sport and what he'd want for the most is for the Mets to win. If he's performing well and he's able to somehow win NL MVP, or at least he has that mindset where he's thinking about it, that means he's playing better for the Mets. It all leads to the same road.
Yeah, I think Ohtani's such a freak, obviously, because he's won that award. I mean, the pitching goes without saying, right? Nobody else does that. Sick. But he won it even 2 years ago when he wasn't pitching. Right. I mean, even just his offensive stats are so out of this world and out of this planet. Here's where I think Soto actually showed I guess you would say improvement last year. Like Soto really on the base paths last year, I feel like unlocked something, right? That's a big part of Ohtani's game, is stealing bases to go along with that power, to go along with hitting to contact, to go along with just all of it that he does so well. Soto, I think, turned a corner with that last year specifically. And I think if he continues to add that to his game, and it's like you're looking at, you know, a 30-30 season, a 40-30 season sometimes, that is exceptional. And I think keeps him in that conversation, because that really sticks out to have a guy who has such raw power like Soto, like Ohtani, but then can also have that athleticism to steal that many bases, to create runs like that. You know what I mean? I think that's really, really valuable. So I think, listen, we've given more than enough credit to Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers, and we all know that we are witnessing something that we will never see again in our lifetime. He could win the award for the next 8 years, and it would probably be deserved unless he has a really down year. But I think that if you're a Mets fan, you have to at least look at having A, Juan Soto, B, Francisco Lindor on your team, who are top 10 in NL MVP voting every year. Top 10's not good enough. You want to have the MVP, of course. But to just have two guys that are even in that conversation is a lot more than a lot of other teams in the National League.
100%. That's something that I think that all Mets fans should feel good about. And when it comes to the MVP, the bottom line is, I think if Soto is going to dethrone Ohtani, what it would come down to probably more than anything is consistency.
Yeah.
How many games is he hitting well in, right? Like, what are the numbers he's able to put up? Because if they're not as astronomical as Ohtani's, which you kind of feel like it's going to be hard to beat, then I think that maybe that's where consistency plays a role. And you're seeing how frequently he's able to put up some numbers like that and what else he's able to do. We'll see what happens. I mean, listen, I think both of us would probably sit here and tell you that we think Ohtani is the best baseball player that's playing right now, maybe the best baseball player ever, but it doesn't mean that he can't be dethroned in a season, you know?
And you know what? I think it's interesting too. We'll see how Soto adjusts to a new lineup this year, because the guys around him are very different. Ohtani obviously has that Dodgers lineup is staying relatively the same in comparison to the last couple years. Soto's going to have some new surroundings. He's going to have some new guys around him. Obviously, the loss of Pete Alonso, but then maybe a top to bottom more consistent lineup. So we'll see how that changes his approach. We'll see how that even changes where he hits in the lineup, you know?
That's the one thing, to be honest with you, a couple weeks out that I still just feel kind of nervous about. I understand why this had to happen, because when you're a team that has World Series aspirations and you don't make the playoffs, something has to change. But like, there's just no guarantee that it's actually going to be better. And all I hear is Laura Albany's in my head right now. From, if you guys didn't watch that episode, again, go watch it because it's great. But I kind of asked her something like, you know, something along the lines of, you know, how confident would you feel to go on the record today and kind of say that this is a playoff team? And she was like, I wouldn't feel confident saying that at all. She's like, I think that the ceiling for this team is astronomically high, but the floor is very low.
Boom or bust.
What do you do with that?
Yeah, boom or bust. It's scary. Like, it honestly, and I think it was interesting to hear that from someone who's around every day, because the media has kind of churned up that narrative. Fans have kind of decided that's the case in their own minds. But then you have Laura Albany sitting there watching, you know, on the backfields of spring training every day, and she's saying, no, that's really how I feel too. So we'll see. I mean, I echo something that she said, and I think the lineup is actually the area that I'm least worried about. I think with who they did bring in, it might not be quite as flashy as Pete Alonso in terms of a name, in terms of raw power. But I think that the way they're stacking it this year, and with Lindor and Soto and Bichette at the top, followed by Polanco, Simeon, I think there's more overall consistency. I think you often, or there has the potential to be. We'll see though. If Polanco and Simeon have down years, and, you know, Vientos and Beatty kind of keep cruise control on the status quo of like, nah, then it doesn't look so good. But I think on paper, opening day today, this year, 2026, in comparison to opening day 2025, there's more potential for consistency 1 through 9. Whereas last year, I feel like you looked at that lineup 1 through 6, you were like, yeah, this is great. 7, 8, 9. Who are these guys?
I understand. Completely.
We'll see.
And at the end of the day, you know what? I think as a Mets fan, maybe you're okay with the idea of a boom or bust kind of year, because nobody really wants what last year was. I mean, I don't think any baseball fan would want what last year was. That was like sickening.
Horrible.
That actually was the worst of the worst, because it was like,
ill.
this team is great, and then this team is terrible. Like my dad, who watches the Mets every single year, I mean, he's lying. I'm sure your dad has said similar things, but like for like months, he was like, I can't get over it. Like he literally told me a few weeks ago, he was like, I thought I wasn't gonna come back but I'm back and I'm ready for another year. I'm like,
I
you
am
were gonna come
ready
back
to be hurt again. I am ready to be hurt again. Life of a Mets fan.
You never left.
No, my
Enough.
dad, you know, it's funny you say that because my dad pulls that same shit. Specifically last year in like September, I'd like ask him about, you know, it was coming down to the wire. It was like game 162. We're gonna make the playoffs. He's like, I don't even watch anymore. My mom's like, he's watching.
No, he's watching.
He lies. He's a liar. He's like half in denial himself. He's like, I hate that team. I don't watch them. But he's like,
No, wait, that's the best part. I'm literally imagining it being like, no, I don't watch.
meanwhile, he has like 8 alerts on his phone. He watches every night. It is such a disease. It's a disease.
Anyway, the point is everybody's back. Back, excited, and ready.
I am back at 100%. I've recovered. I've done the work. I am ready to be hurt again.
Have gone to therapy.
Sign me up.
Let's start that relationship back up. Let's get those conversations going. Maybe we were meant to be after all.
The door was always half open.
Yep.
今回も最後までご視聴いただき本当にありがとうございました。動画の内容を楽しんでいただけたでしょうか。もしよろしければチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。皆さんの応援が今後の動画制作の大きな励みになります。それではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。